You guys,
you gotta look there.
yeah, we got to look up there. And see how Sheldon sees. It's another thing. You see how he does me?
Yeah.
He puts it in big fonts where Tim can see it because I'm blind as shit. See, he does me a solid. Anyway, welcome, guys. Glad you're here. They wanted me to do, me and Tom are doing is this a podcast or live stream? Excuse me. Like I know the fucking lingo. But at any rate, they wanted me to do it for some reason. Heather asked me last week, and I'm going, I don't know what's going on. Is everybody sick, or you guys just, it's the end of the year and you're lazy and you don't need the money like they're paying us for it, Tom? You didn't know you were getting the big bucks, did you?
No, I didn't. That's awesome.
I'll tell you, I'll wait a few minutes to tell you some stuff. We had a good weekend. I did my last class of the year, and I'm kind of depressed about that in a way, but it is what it is. I know this time of the year everybody's traveling, and Christmas time is coming up, and they don't have the funds or the especially the time to take classes, and they need to be around their family. So, Adam, don't make me ban you off this thing right away. Adam.
The hat's a hit. Yours.
Yeah, I know. Well, the reason I got this hat on is because normally back here it's colder than a well digger's butt in China, but I was making a statement on offline how Sheldon doesn't get as much credit as he should. Because he come back here and fired up one of those space heaters, and you can't broadcast with it on because it's too loud, but it's nice and toasty back here. So, and now my phone's starting to, I have to turn it off. Sorry. It's my bitches. See? I told you. Watch the live stream. It's Barry Yeager asking me how I'm feeling, so I just told him to watch the live stream. I'm gonna turn this thing off. All right. Anyway, so enough of you guys are on. So we had a good weekend. We had a way of shotgun, and I had about 13 people for fighting shotgun. And what's Matt's name? I keep messing this up.
Matt.
The one that took shotgun, Nate's friend, not Matt Dorito. Matt Dorito's a guitar player, right? The strength coach. The one that teaches strength.
Oh, Matt Reynolds.
Matt Reynolds. So Matt Reynolds was in class, and a lot of guys were in class, and I had a lot of help. Jay was helping me teach a class, and lo and behold, if Nate didn't show up just to be around, his girlfriend was in class, so he showed up to help her and Matt. And he came in. He came in from work. They were working out in Oklahoma, I think, or Colorado or somewhere. But anyway, he came in, so we had him to help. And so it was a very good class, very good group of people. And naturally, you guys know how much I love teaching shotgun or being around shotguns. So it was my last class of the year again. So I'm happy it was shotgun and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I was supposed to attend, but I missed it.
Were you?
I was, yeah.
In what respect? Helping us teach or shooting?
No, that I missed it. I've never done shotgun.
Oh, you're gay.
That was why I sent you that text, man.
Do you know why he's got his arms folded in front of him where he can cover up this gay sweat? He's got a gay sweater, these Christmas damn sweaters, and I guess his wife dressed him. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I can attribute it to. Richard says, Tim, we have a new Cuban restaurant here. Where is here? You talking about Tampa or you someplace else? You guys got any questions? Big Mac says Remington 870s are really tough to find. I will tell you this, Big Mac. I would stay away from any new Remington 870s built in the last 10 years. I would go find a used one, especially find the if you've got a big police department and county sheriff's office in your town, find out who they trade with, the gun store they go to get their guns from, and try to buy the police buybacks, the older guns. The modern 870s, the ones built in the last 10 to 12, maybe 15 years, Remington's been through such a turmoil with people buying it and selling it. Their quality control went to shit, and I've seen too many new 870s in class crap the bed. So I would stay away from them. I would get a Mossberg 500 or 590 or the semi-automatics. You guys know the Berettas and the Benellis, any of those. But I would stay away from any modern produced in the last 10 to 15 years on 870s. Yeah, Adam Hall showed up, didn't he? Yeah, I think Adam showed up.
He's on there. You can ask.
Yeah. Fort Bragg State.
Cav Scout sweater for sure. That's funny.
What did he say?
No, Richard Help says that's a Cav Scout sweater for sure.
What does that mean? I don't know about
Cav Scout
Cav.
guys.
Oh, they're a little weird?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
How cold is a well digger's ass?
It's pretty cold.
Without regard to nationality.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Barry, since you're on, yeah, I'm still got part of that cold, but I'm feeling better. And Saturday and Sunday were rough on fighting shotgun. I was hacking my lungs up, but being around that and being around those warrior class, it made me feel at least a little warm inside. And I'm gradually getting over it, but this one's hanging on for a little bit. It doesn't want to break free. Eventually, I'll get over it. What
Brakes
on the new 870s? I think I might have one. Brakes.
Yeah, what brakes on them? You tell everyone.
What brake? Oh, what brake? I thought you were saying there was a brake on the end of the muzzle. I go, I've never heard of that. What brakes on them? The internals, like they have power ejectors, and it's those penny pinchers again with any company. Like they sold rim, and they took the old aluminum. I call it a bow ejector. It's a round piece that. Or a curved piece that sits in there that when the extractor pulls it out of the gun, when it gets it back there, it kicks it out of the gun, kicks the shell out, and they change it to a weaker piece to save a nickel. And they're bad about not ejecting. They also, to keep them from jamming, they're overboring the chambers. And what's happening is with the low brass actually expands in the chamber, and you're like having to resize it, getting it out, and so the extractor's having to do a lot more work. Those two things that I've noticed about them. John Kruer said he had a great time. He's getting dummy slugs for Christmas. I don't know what the fuck that is, John. I said dummy rounds to practice with. I'm not shooting dummy slugs. I don't know what that is. Is that like a plastic one? I don't know what you're talking about. Barry said I was watching when you sent the text. Well, then why'd you ask me? You could have asked me on the screen. Why'd you send me a text? Sometimes I don't know about him. He lives with a wife and 2 daughters, and I think it gets to him sometimes.
Yeah, is that it?
I think so. That's all I'm saying. I think sometimes he gets these female tendencies and he doesn't understand why. It's just the company you're around all the time, Barry. You need to get out of the house more. And Barry, I'm not going to say too much about it, but Barry had to take off a few days from work for an injury that he's getting fixed. And so I think that's driving him crazy, being kept in the house like a.
You got to get
he's
out,
with
man.
the 2 dogs, and he don't even like the dogs. That's a
Oh,
bitch.
man, yeah.
I don't know if he likes the daughters, but he damn sure don't like the dogs. So he's sitting there all day long. The rest of the family's off doing something, and he don't know. He's losing his mind. He can't do anything with his shoulder, poor guy. So he can't like go out there and work on the bike unless you can do it one-handed.
Yeah.
Like hold a screwdriver in your mouth and tell him with something. I don't know. Okay.
So there's his reason. So he could laugh when he heard you check your phone. When he heard the ring. What's going on, Carter? Oh, hey, Mike, what's up? Mike Farrell's on there too. I
Mike
saw him
Farrell?
before. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I've got that one. Higher X. It's Jacob from Backstrap is saying, "Hey to you, Tim."
Okay. Hello. Jacob from Bastrop. Bastrop's a nice place.
Yeah. Well, I've never been.
Oh, it's a nice place. You know why Jay loves it, don't you? There's one reason Jay loves Bastrop. Bucky's got the Bucky's there.
You know, you got one in
Huge
Crossville.
I know.
Yeah.
But not like the one in Bastrop.
Is it different?
Oh, yeah, it's bigger.
Oh.
The one in Bastrop's bigger.
How much bigger do you need, man?
I don't know. I mean, you know what amazed me about it is how many gas pumps they got. They got
Oh my
like
gosh,
100.
yeah.
They got 100 that they run with the additive.
Yeah.
They got like 50 over there with no additive, and then
Yeah.
they got a 50-gallon, 50 diesel tank,
Yeah.
and no semis are allowed in their parking lot.
Yeah.
So they're just diesel
Yeah.
cars and trucks.
Yeah, that's
And they got and at their stations they got that blue crap that you got to put in them. They got a pump on scene at the gas at the diesel
the
pumps.
DEF?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the DEF stuff.
Oh man, that is
I know.
that's the
I know.
stupidest crap.
I know.
So when we moved here to Tennessee, we rented U-Haul or Ryder, whatever it was. But it was a diesel.
Right.
And so when I saw the thing talking about diesel exhaust fluid, I thought it was a freaking. I
somebody's
thought they were
pulling
clowning,
your leg,
right?
yeah.
I'm like, because you know, hey dude, go get the exhaust sample. You know.
You know, I bet you a person could do this. Be a diesel mechanic and just work on the side taking that shit off the vehicle.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to do it when under warranty.
Yeah.
But a diesel truck will run 500,000 miles easy,
Yeah.
and especially if you get that shit off of it.
Oh yeah.
You know. So you could just do it on the side.
Yeah.
Just that's all you do is just take the DEF bullshit off a diesel.
Yeah.
And I bet you $1 a ton. I bet you can't go to the junkyard and find those old Cummins 4 and 6 cylinders anymore that didn't have it on there. They've already been bought up by everybody.
Yeah.
Knows about it. What does that even mean? He said, "I'm glad the DEF crap got taken off my truck before it made."
So now it's illegal to remove the stuff.
Well, who gives a shit? The fuck?
Well, yeah, but finding somebody to do it, and then
Fuck. Listen.
No, I'm with you. Blinker fluid, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I thought it was too. The first time I heard of it. I go,
Yeah.
I read because I saw it in the store in a case, and I go, "What is that?" And it says a diesel additive. I said, "It gives you better fuel mileage." I said, "No, it prevents the smoke coming out of the." I go, "What?" I go, "You guys are pulling my leg too."
So yeah, he's got. I've got a buddy who was taking the DEF shit off till they made it illegal to remove. My truck was the last one they did. Okay, so it was at a shop, right?
Yeah. Well.
And then they trace it back to
listen.
the shop, and dudes lose licenses.
Okay. Well, here's the other deal.
More tyranny, right?
With the amount of stuff on the internet, I bet you could.
Yeah,
I bet you could find it yourself and take it off yourself.
Probably go to YouTube. And be
Yeah.
like, hey man, remove.
Well, hell, you can build a gun off of the damn YouTube now.
You make them one of them ghost guns, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't want to get into much of the politics of it, but guys, if you guys know, Supreme Court right now has in front of it. They haven't agreed to take the case yet, but they've got the Illinois they got several cases in front of them, but one of them is Illinois' registration of semi-automatics, which they call assault weapons. You guys know how I feel about that. But they're semi-automatics and their magazines. They're making their residents register them like some of the other states have done. And it's went through the Illinois Supreme Court, which upheld it for the state, and now it's in front of the Supreme Court justices. And as I understand it, it takes 4 of the justices to vote to put it on the docket. And I think we got 4. I mean, we got five members that can do it. So, in actuality, with the exception of Roberts, however you think about Roberts, we've got. There's 9. There's only 3 real liberal judges on now, and the other 6 are, counting Roberts, is more conservative. So hopefully, once they rule against that, plus the fact that I heard this, they're having the same problem in Illinois they had in Connecticut when they did it in Connecticut, where the Connecticut government said, the police force who was enforcing this said, we believe there's 350,000 of these ARs and the AKs in our state, and they gave them a month to register them, and they found out only 42,000 out of the 350 got registered.
Yeah, nobody's.
And it wasn't all guns; they were making them register magazines,
Yeah.
so you can't attribute there was 42,000 rifles. There may have been magazines in there too, but at any rate, when the local or the state media got a hold of it and went back to them and said, "Listen, you guys have got, you're still 300 and something thousand plus that weren't registered." So then the Connecticut sent a nice letter to everybody they thought had one, and all the FFL saying, okay, you guys might have misunderstood. You had a month to do it. We're going to open it up for another month in case you didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
And then the next month they had like 12,000 more things registered, so that still came up to less than 300,000. And then they sent the nasty letters out that we're going to catch you with it. We're going to do this and that and the other.
That's like they do.
Yeah.
Here, there you go. You got a.
What is it?
Kyle Osborne's asking 20 gauge shotguns for home defense. Pros, cons.
Kyle, 20 gauge is fine. The difference between what you want in a 20 gauge, we use double aught buck and 12. The number one buck in a 20 gauge is a 9 pellet load, like a double aught buck would be in a 12 gauge. The velocities are about the same. The only difference is a 12 gauge is 33 caliber in size. The pellets are, and a 20 gauge is 30 caliber in size. So not much difference. Pros and cons of it. The con of it is 20 gauge ammo is harder to get a hold of than 12 gauge is, so that's a con. And if you get one for your family, if it's going to be for everybody in the family, make it a youth model. Try to find a youth model 870 or a Mossberg, because it's cut down to fit a kid and your wife, and you can still use it. The slugs on a 20 gauge, they're usually ½ ounce or 3/4 ounce compared to 1 ounce for a 12 gauge, but they're still doing about the same. So, same velocity. So don't worry about it. If you give him a ½ ounce and you think he needs a whole ounce racket, give him another one. Who cares? I mean, shit, they're cheap. First round's going to cost you $50,000 anyway, and lawyers' fees. The rest of them are free. Have a good day. I'm just saying. Carter Munchmore. Is that Munchmore? Much more. Yeah. What sucks about gunsmithing school I went to isn't going to have AR bills anymore for grade. They probably switched to 1022s. Well, that's not a good gun school, dude. That's the most popular rifle in America. Has been for fucking the past 15 years.
A minute, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been for a minute.
Yeah. I'd go to a different gun school, brother. What else, guys? I know I'm pretty,
so
but you don't want to.
I came with some questions.
Okay, excellent.
We can just start.
Wow. Wow.
I know, right?
2 pages of it.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
I know. So
who are they for? Who are the questions for?
Well, see, I kind of, and I should have said something, but I thought it was going to be Joey. On the thing. Okay. So the questions, and I'm doing this for my channel too. So if you don't know out there, I have my own YouTubes at SFC Pathfinder, and I review gun schools, or I'd go to the gun schools, do the training, and then review the school.
Okay.
Yeah, prep.
Excellent.
But to kind of help grow my channel and exposure on either way. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I can do this as an interview, and start and just ask questions. And so,
but these are for Joey. So
well,
these are
no, it's easy, right?
These sound like they're going to be benign.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Hard questions.
Man. All right, go ahead.
So, given
that's what I meant. If you were giving them Joey, they had to be benign. I'm just saying.
No, you know what? And so,
Joey, I hope he's watching tonight. Joey, get out of bed, get your house slippers off, and sit up in a chair.
So no, but these are easy to flip from.
Okay.
So from your perspective as a firearms instructor.
Okay.
So what's and I mean, I think you can probably speak to the school, but what's the philosophy on the firearms training here at Tactical Response?
The philosophy is always the core, which is mindset here. Now, and I tell students, when you vet another school, if you're thinking about going to another school, which I hope you do, I don't think we got the whole pie. I think we get a good piece of the pie. But there are other instructors, I've said it all along, Pat Mack, Sonny Pazikis, Clint Smith, Tom Gibbons, all those guys. What I do when I vet a class, I'm actually looking at the class and I want to know their philosophy. What's a class based off of? Is this a skills-based only class? Like James and Jay went to a class one time and I forgot who taught it, but it was basically just the same drill was done over and over again on steel targets, falling steel targets on a timer. And they did that for like 3 days. So that's a skills-based only class. Ours is mindset based. And I don't mind going to skills-based only class as long as I know it going into it.
Yeah.
I don't want them to misrepresent something and me get there and thinking I've got a mindset class and it's skills-based only. Or it could be a tactics class. I have no problem with going to tactics class. But ours is mindset-based, and when you vet a class, just try to ascertain before you go where you don't get your feelings hurt and you think you paid for something you didn't pay for and you're not getting the class that you thought you were going to get. So that's all I'd say. Vet it. And if it's a skills-based only class, I'm still not saying don't go to it. If you need some skills-based training, like you want to get faster and better with a rifle, pistol, or shotgun, that might be the class for you. So no problem there. Go.
Okay. What sets your training apart from other schools?
What sets our training apart from other schools?
Yep.
I really believe this, and I've had this feeling from the time I was here as a student. We actually care. It's not especially to the instructors, it's not a money thing. And it never was to James. Yeah, we had to make money to keep the lights on and keep our overhead and all that stuff like that, and people had to make a living out of it. But our classes throughout the years have been cheaper than any other classes I've ever seen people go to. As far as the cost-wise goes. But that withstanding, I think that people can tell that when we teach and when we're here and when they have questions, that we're here for them. And also the fact that when they're done, they're alumni, and we give out our personal phone numbers. Every class I teach, I'm out of cards right now, but I'll at least write my phone number on the board and say, write that down. And if you ever need anything, don't call me because I won't answer unless you're on a phone book because I got too many people after me.
Right.
Too sexy. But having said that, send me a text or even call me and leave my voicemail that you're alumni and I'll get back with you. I don't think a lot of schools do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I think ours is.
All
why
right.
we get people coming back.
And then just full disclosure out there, for those of you who don't know, I have trained a fair amount here at Tactical Response.
Yes,
So
yeah.
I am coming from it as an
informed consumer.
Informed, yes, and it's not going to be a hostile interview. So
Oh, it's okay if you get hostile. I'll just stab you in the
right.
thigh.
Very nice.
You remember that? You remember that Ricky Bobby thing where he says, "I can't feel my legs. You're going to feel yours." Okay, go ahead.
All right, perfect. So what are your qualifications and experience? Too sexy for...
No, my military background helps me somewhat, even though it's like ancient history now.
Right.
But it helps me in the respect that I have a dogged. When I get a hold of something, I won't let go of it, especially if I know I'm right, and especially if it's something that I consider to be important. And then the qualifications here is that I was very lucky to get to learn. I learned behind Jay when I was first getting on. Jay was here. The late Paul Gomez was here. James was here naturally. And James, in case you don't know it, James won't accept subpar teaching out of his instructors. And I made mistakes and get my ass chewed and stuff like that. But he does it in a way. Sometimes he gets angry and he'll do it in front of the students, and that's a little embarrassing, but you learn to live with it. I mean, I'm ex-military, so it doesn't bother me that much because, a DI would come up and call your mother a whore and your dad a pimp in front of the whole fucking company. So that didn't bother me any. But he really wanted you to get better. And he had a line in the sand that, this is what we teach. This is how, and words mean things, so you can't substitute. Some things we all got our own teaching style to a certain degree. All of us do. And I noticed that about students, like some gravitate towards me, some gravitate toward Jay, some would gravitate toward Paul Gomez when he was around, Lewis, all the rest of them. People tend to gravitate around a personality they enjoy. And we're all putting out the same message because we're all on the same sheet of music. So, I think my background is the military, but my qualifications is just being able to do it around and learn around a bunch of good instructors that kind of put me under their wing and brought me up the way I should be.
All right.
Okay, go.
I'll just read the question. What is the student to instructor ratio in the classes?
No more than 7 to 1.
7 to 1. Okay, that was easy.
Yep.
What safety measures do you have in place?
The 4 cardinal firearm safety rules. That's it. We don't have any range rules because they're gay as a priest at a Boy Scout convention. I mean, we just don't have them. And I know you've been to places and like Titusville. I love going to Titusville. But and when we teach, we go by our own rules. They don't. Those guys down at Titusville are most of them are alumni because we've invited them to the class. They're cadre. Right. So they know we got our own insurance, and they don't worry about their range rules when we're teaching because they know we're not going to follow them. But Jay said at one time he was at a place that had 50 range rules on the wall, and we were sitting there talking about it. Believe it or not, it was at a police range, no less.
Yeah.
Memphis Police Range is where it was at. And we were sitting out there on the bumper of the truck talking about it because we saw it written up there. And he said, you realize that they had to put that rule up because somebody did that? Yeah. And some of them were just weird. I'm going, no, nobody could have done that. And he goes, oh, yeah. They didn't put them up until somebody jacked that up.
Yeah.
And then they put the next one up.
And I'll dial in on this one a little bit more.
Okay.
Just because I know what you're saying, and I'm with you. But there is a safety plan in place. That and for anyone out there that doesn't know, there is a range bag. There is an evac
okay.
plan.
I thought you were
no.
What we follow.
And
No,
that's why I'm
we have
kind of clarifying.
We have every time we have a class, we have a big medic bag on the range. We have designated vehicles that are bug out vehicles in case we want to take them to Camden General here. The keys are always on the dash. If we're at another location like out in Arizona, when I get to the range that morning, I punch in the local trauma hospital, the one closest to us, in the GPS. So if anybody jumps in the truck, when they start it up, it's going to go to that. It automatically on the screen because that's where I leave it. And then all the instructors, naturally, we all carry pocket kits as well. So yes, I didn't understand what you were asking.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to up here. So Clancy Russell is asking: is advanced fighting pistol more skill set or mindset?
It's still more mindset, guys. There's some advanced skills in it, but the mindset's always the preeminent thing. It always is.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some crazy drills in advance, but here's the thing with advance. I'll just make this public statement, and people that come to the advance know this because we make this statement before we go to the range. There's no drill that's mandatory in advanced. So if we do some drill that you're uncomfortable with for whatever reason, and you don't even have to give us a reason, we're not going to ask you for a reason, you don't have to do that drill. It's just that simple. So you could technically take advanced class and not do a drill in the damn thing and sit over there on the bench and get a certificate.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Okay. What types of firearms training do you offer?
We offer rifle, pistol, shotgun, sniper rifles, intermediate range rifles, and that might be we offer battle rifle classes, which are 308 specific or something in that neighborhood. The contractor classes, which are really a leadership class and not really a gun per se class. And then we offer the medical classes. We also offer the force on force classes, which is used with munitions. And in case you guys don't know about this, I heard this just recently. One of the other instructors told me that ATF has come out and said that no civilians can buy FX rounds anymore. It's only for police and military. So we're still teaching the classes, don't get me wrong, and the other instructor that I'm talking about got a line on some FX rounds, and he traded some classes for those rounds because we think they're going to be hard to come by later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dirty suckers.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, and so as I'm asking my questions, if you guys spit one up on there, and it doesn't get answered, hit it, just send it again, and we'll pick you up. All right. All right, cancellation policy. What's cancellation policy?
That's a Heather question, but I do know this. You can cancel, I think, up to 24. I'm not even going to say because I'm not sure. That's a Heather question and a Joey question. But I know we have a cancellation policy, and I also know that they'll either give you your money back or you can reschedule the class. I know that much. I don't know what the time frame on it is. I almost said 24 hours, but I don't know if that's true or not. So I'll leave it at that. Maybe if Joey or Heather are watching, they can punch it in for us.
All right, and I think it's on the website.
Yeah, probably
and I know,
is. I'm
and
sure it is.
And again, probably a lot of if you're not a new face in here, they'll work with you here. And like I said, from my side as the consumer, and maybe not for discounts for groups or veterans.
Yes, they have those. I don't know what they are, but they definitely have those.
That's
yes.
another one. Call in and ask.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. And I know this, and it's on the website. What are your payment terms?
All of the above.
Yeah.
Like you can pay a little now.
Yeah. So
We had guys that, it takes them 6 months because they're married, and I'm not talking about their financial situation, but they may be married with a new kid and stuff like that, and the money's hard to come by because they're the only one working, the wife's home taking care of the kid, which she should be. That's a little sexist, but I don't give a damn. And at any rate,
how does your wife feel about that?
I don't have one of them. I think a wife is like jock itch. It's fun to scratch, but you wish you wasn't there. At any rate, some guys pay 6 months. They'll do a layaway. We have a layaway, and they'll take money in any way, shape, or form, or however you can pay it.
Gotcha.
As far as I know.
Okay. Now, next one. What are the first three courses you would recommend taking, and in what order?
I would take fighting pistol, immediate action medical, and the fight. And those three are also listed as a trifecta. So if you have 6 days that you can get off, take them one after the other. We'll list them that way and train them that way. So those are, and the reason being, I like rifles and shotguns, and everybody knows I love to teach shotgun, but the pistol is what we carry around most. And before they come to a shotgun class, I'd like to have them have medical and force on force, because force on force is close I can get them to in a real gunfight, and there's consequences of doing things right and wrong, but it's still a learning thing, very much a learning thing. So those three classes, bare minimum.
Then John Batalana, I apologize if I jacked that up, dude, but that's how it is.
Yes.
The
discounts on alumni classes are, if you've already taken the class, you don't get a discount on a class you've never taken before. But let's say we had fighting pistol. The next time, if you come here, we can't do it on the road, but if you come here, it'll be half price. So just about any class, 2-day class now, I'm not talking about the contractor classes or any 5-day classes we have, but the 2-day classes, if you've taken it here or taken it anywhere and you come here to repeat it, you can do it for half price. So good question. Okay.
I think we kind of hit that.
Okay.
What is the format of the course? Examples, lecture, hands-on.
It's more hands-on, depending on the class. Like in fighting pistol, everybody knows there's a 3-hour lecture on day 2, and that deals with legal, emotional, it deals with a bunch of aspects that people don't normally think about when they start carrying a gun. And it's not just, even if you never carried a gun, that lecture would be priceless, okay? And we're still using James's, when we're here especially, we put that CD in of James doing the lecture,
right,
because it's still, nothing's really changed in the lecture since I've been here. No. I mean, on the range, we tell you what we're about to do. We may demonstrate it. Sometimes we demonstrate, sometimes we don't, and then you do it. So it's, here's what we're going to do, here's how we're going to do it, and let's do it. So that's the format, basically.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll jump up to here.
Okay.
And Kyle Osborne is asking what classes after that. I'm guessing after those 3.
After those 3, whatever you're interested in. If you want to do a shotgun class, that's great. If you want to use shotgun for home defense, I highly recommend it. If you want a rifle class, that's great. If you're into the long range stuff, take one of Jay's long range classes. That's great. If you're in the intermediate range stuff, or you want to do a battle rifle, any of those things will be fine. Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What is the pace of the course?
The pace
and let's just
the pace is the pace. In other words, we have a timestamp on our curriculum. And in the old days, in our curriculum, by the way, for most people that don't understand, our curriculum is set up for a 20-person class. So that timestamp for that 20-person class, and I can remember in the old days, James would drive up to the range and he'd look at his watch, and we should be teaching what's on that timestamp if we got a 20-person class. Right. Now, if we had 7 people there, he wouldn't adhere to it. He wouldn't adhere to that so rigidly as he would if we had but he wants you to be on pace. So,
there we go.
Yeah,
I'm just going to, Donald Rocco, 72 people watching. How about smashing that like button? Yep. Go ahead and whack that like button for us.
What else?
And this one, maybe like just generalize this one, but equipment required.
The good thing about equipment required, all of our classes have equipment lists. So when you take the class, like fighting pistol, look at the equipment list and bring everything on the equipment list. And I don't know, it's been a long time since I looked at that equipment list, because I always carry extra of everything. But one thing I will tell you guys to do, the equipment list, don't get a bank loan to buy it. But good holsters, the thing I see most is crappy holsters in class. And I've got a spare. James gave all us instructors 2 holsters. They're just a loop holsters that are generic, will carry just about any semi-automatic. But these felt holsters that have no rigidity to them, those are a useless waste of time, because every time the student reholsters, he's got to pinch the holster together to open it up, and now he's flagging his own hand. Yeah. So just and look at the requirements, and I think even on the requirements it'll say a Kydex or a leather holster instead of, I think it even says that now. But look at the list and bring what they tell you to bring. Is the best I can tell you. Yeah, and John Kruger says no reloads. Yes, we don't allow reloads on the range. Yeah. We haven't for years. And even if you're a master reloader, nobody's probably going to catch it that you're using reloads. But don't do it. It's just an accident waiting to happen. It's like range scratch. Years ago, students would leave, and when we cleaned the range up, we'd pick up and put bullets in a bucket and shoot them. And I quit doing that when I found out I couldn't determine where these rounds had come from. Yeah. And Calvin blew a gun up, and after that I go, there's no way I'm using range scratch anymore.
Juice ain't worth the squeeze.
No, not at all. What else?
And I think for that, that can, how do we register for a course?
You call Heather, and you sign up, and you can even do it online, I'm sure. I know you can. Sign up online, and it asks you for your credit card or whatever. And again, when you're doing that, even on the credit card, you can pay half. You don't have to pay, or you can pay, like even on the credit card, if you want to pay a quarter of the class and say, hold this slot for me, and within the next 4 months, I'm going to pay a quarter every month. Nobody cares. So that would still work. But you can also call her Heather direct.
Yeah.
And she'll sign you up and get you on the sheet.
Let's see. Where did I see that one? No. I'm going to modify this one a little bit and just ask for what are your recommendations on guns. So we'll do pistol, rifle, and shotgun.
Okay, on pistols, I recommend 4 different manufacturers, and then inside that manufacturing list, as long as it's 9mm 45 caliber, I don't really care. Glocks, naturally, any of the Glocks, 19, 17s. I carry G45, SIGs. The modern 320s, the Gen 2 320s, and I've been running a 365 for about a month now, and I like it. It's the 365 X Macro, so it's the 17-round, and it's ingenious the way they did that. Do you know how they did that? The magazine's kind of relatively small. So here's how they did it. They made the internal spring small at the top, bigger in the middle, and small at the bottom. Okay. So you're actually, when you're putting those rounds in, you're compressing the spring inside of itself in the middle.
Wow, okay.
So it's there's some, what do you call it, some engineer that earned his pay that week, I'm just going to say. So Glock, SIGs, M&P 2.0s, they've ran very, very good in class. M&P Shields, I'm not a fan of them anymore. I think there's better ones out there, but they still run very nicely, and they don't have a problem with them. And then H&K, I'm not a fan of H&K because they're not a fan of ours. It's the civilian world, but their products work. So those 4 brands and pistols. Rifles, AR rifles, Daniel Defense, Midway. I mean, if you got unlimited money, I guess Noveske, if you want to go that route. What's some other brands? I'm missing some.
I'm currently running a Sons of Liberty Gunworks.
Okay, rifle. I don't know about them, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, and it does.
So ARs and that. AKs, American-built AKs, naturally, Brian at Occam Defense, if you can get a hold of one of his, I mean, you're going to pay for it, but they are legit. I've got 2 AKs that were kits that were built by Lee Armory. Now they're out of business, I understand, but the guys that own Lee Armory have split up, and so I've got one right out there right now with one of the guys that work for Lee Armory. Off the shelf, probably the best AK off the shelf, I think, are Arsenals. If you can get a hold of them, you're going to pay big money for them, but I think it's the best AK off the shelf. Century Arms, we use these Century Arms for rentals, and they get abused like no tomorrow, and they're still running. So those 2. So those are in the rifles, ARs, in the AKs. In shotguns, if you want a good semi-automatic, you can go with Benelli's M4s M2s. If you want a Beretta 1301 in the A300s, I'm not ready to recommend them yet, but we're testing, and I hadn't had any problems. We've got 2 of them here. Beretta sent us one, and I bought one. They're both running like champs, and they'll run the low brass, low recoil stuff for training, so I'm a big fan of that. Shotgun-wise, Mossberg, I'd stay away from the modern Remingtons, like I said, but if you can pick up a used Remington, an older Remington, a police buyback would probably be okay. And then the Mossbergs 500s, 590s, those are all good. I'd stay away from the Mossberg semi-automatics, the 930s and 940s. I haven't seen good luck with those on the range. So those are the 4 rifles, pistols, and shotguns.
Well, I think you answered
What?
the one up here on the asking how the A300s have been running.
Yep, so far so good.
And then shout out there to Risky
What?
for subscribing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or whatever. He coughed up some money there for the channel. And then
Okay.
Carter's asking me about my Sons of Liberty Gunworks. Yeah, it's running like a champ. I got about 2,100 rounds through it, and mostly operator error on it. So
Okay.
it initially I had some problems with it, but I think it was under lubed at one point, and so. But yeah, no, it's banging away, man.
Okay, so there's a question up there. Kyle Osborne says, I heard Tim loves Lexo's AK-12 AK-12 magazine-fed shotgun. So Lexo brought a AK Sega variant, but he built it in his garage. And so when he got here, I said, that ain't going to work. I'll be ready to loan you a shotgun in a minute.
Yeah.
He ran it the whole class, and it was malfunctioning like a sumbitch. So here's what I will say. Here's what I'll say about Sega shotguns. Okay, Sega shotguns are only worth a damn if you send them off to somebody like Jim Fuller or Rifle Dynamics or Krebs to have it professionally built. That's the only way I've seen them run in class. These home-built ones in the garage, I've never seen one make it through class without choking. And Lexo's did too. Now, he was a trooper, and he just kept racking them out and running them. God bless him. And I giggled at him. Like, there's a video on YouTube now, a short, where we're running the Rolling Thunder, and he's having malfunctions in the middle of that, and I'm giggling my ass off. You can hear me in the background giggling. So, but now the other part of that is if you get them professionally built, by the time you get done, you got $2,000, $3,000, $2,500, $3,000, $3,500 in a gun when you could have went and bought an M4 for the same money.
Yeah.
And I think it's a far superior
And
product.
spent the rest on training.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What else?
We can go through. So these questions ask from like when you attend training. So what is, and I guess we've talked here, your experience with firearms, which you kind of went over the front, but if you want to elaborate on that.
Well, my experience, short of the military, before I was military, I learned to shoot when I was 6 with a Marlin bolt action 22 rifle. You guys are not going to believe this, but in my day, and I'm old, so you guys can chuckle about that, but we could go down to Western Auto.
Yeah.
I'd pick up pop bottles, a nickel a piece, go turn them in, and get 50 cents. It cost 52 cents for a 50-round box of 22s from Western Auto, and they would sell them to a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
So I shot the crap out of that 22 rifle learning. And I learned a little bit, and I learned to shoot. And by the time I was 10 years old, my dad would allow me to go squirrel hunting or rabbit hunting by myself because he knew I knew the rules, and I was only going to shoot what we were going to eat. I wasn't going to shoot windows out of people's houses or cars or shit like that. So, and then growing up when I got older, my dad was a bird hunter. We went quail hunting just about every weekend when season was in. And my dad bought me and my brother an H&R 20-gauge single-shot shotgun break-open type that we passed between each other. When Dad kicked up a cubby quail, whoever had it, he got to shoot, and then passed it to the brother for the next cubby if we.
Yeah.
So I learned there, and then I got into the competition end of it after the military with Sporting Clays, Trap, and Skeet. So mine was very heavy on shotgun and small bore stuff because that's what I could afford to shoot.
Right.
I didn't have a center fired rifle until I guess I was in the military. I bought a Remington M788, which was the economy version of their bolt action 700. And I got it in a good caliber. I didn't know how good a caliber I got it in, but it's all they had on the shelf at the time, which was 7mm odd 8 rounds, what it was. And that turned out to be a great deer round. So that's my background as far as that goes. And in the military, naturally, in the military, I started out as a Grenadier, which is an M203 grenade launcher. I moved throughout the squad and got into the heavy squad with the M60 machine guns. I was an ammo bearer, assistant gunner, and gunner on that. And then I moved up to squad leader, so I got out of everything except carrying a M16A2. Okay. And then we use different things depending on where we were at in the world. Like when we went down to Central America, we got to use old M79s, Vietnam era 40 millimeter grenade launcher. And the reason we used it is because you could get a flechette round for it that you couldn't put in a 203, and it made a good rear security gun.
Oh yeah,
great gun.
So Todd Kilma's asking up there, are you still having guest instructors, John Lovell, etc.?
Yes. We do still invite other instructors to come teach here. John Farnham naturally comes a couple times a year. Tom comes, yeah.
Don Edwards.
Yeah. We still have, look on the site, and it will be listed on our site as well as theirs. If you have a favorite instructor, like if you want to take a John Farnham class and he's teaching here, on his site it will list it where the location is, or it will probably be on our site as well. Yes. What else?
All right. I don't think we have anything
okay.
up there. So when you go somewhere else, what are you looking for in a firearms training course?
Well, it depends on what I'm looking for before I get there. In other words, if I'm looking for something skilled, a skill-based class, I just look at the instructors, their background. I try to read after-action reviews by students. I try my best to read those. Me personally, I have a personal view on other instructors. You will never hear me talk bad about another instructor unless I've taken a class with them. And everybody knows that there's one instructor I don't recommend you go to because I was in his class and I seen what he did. And basically what it was is he got done with teaching a class and was telling everybody all the mindset stuff. You need to carry your gun and stuff. And he went over to his car, unloaded his gun, put it in a box, and drove away.
Yeah.
And we were at supper. He wasn't carrying a gun. So I have no respect for stuff like that. But I don't talk about other instructors I haven't trained with because I think it's unfair. I don't have and even somebody that has had the class, take it with a grain of salt. You may still like the guy. You may still think his training's still good enough for you to go take the class, even though you may have heard something bad about it. It's your call. It's your money. But I just don't talk about other instructors unless I've had a class with them. There's only one I don't recommend. And that's it.
All right. Grant Tilley's got a question for you.
Okay. Tim, do you still think the 1301 straight from London, maybe me and James did a video on that London Tactical 1301. And what I said about it's got some upgrades on it. And I said when we were looking at them, I said, I imagine this is a good buy, even though it's more expensive than the standard 1301, because if you priced each individual item that you put on this gun, you would probably exceed what they're charging for it. So that's what I said about it, and I still stand by that. Yes.
Yeah, combat arm training telling us learning how to use a gun from someone who doesn't carry one doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
So. And then there was a comment about the space available in the team room.
Okay, space available in the team room. The first 12 people that sign up with Heather, if there's room, she will tell you yes. And we have some extra couches there, and sometimes, like during alumni where you can't stay there because we got the instructors there, there's people, it looks like Dawn of the Dead in that place. There's people laying across couches and over in the floor and shit, and just got to be careful going to the bathroom before you don't walk on somebody's head, but it is what it is. But the first 12 people that sign up is how they ferret those bunks out.
And, all right, see, Mark Curtis is asking you, where would you put a guy with a shotgun in a SHTF combat patrol?
Depends on what the patrol was for. If it's a CQB where we're going through doors, I'd put him 2 or 3 in the front where he could maybe breach the door for me, be the breacher. If not, I would probably put him as rear security because that shotgun's very effective. Because anybody coming up on the rear is going to try to get up close and get in the formation, so it's not going to be a long shot. Yeah. But in also not only depending on the type of patrol you're doing, is if you're doing CQB, but there may be civilians in there. If it's all bad guys, shotgun guys okay up front. Let them have a good time. But if I might encounter civilians in there in close shots with that, I'd probably put it a little further back. Okay.
Well, if they saw it, if we're asking about the A300s again.
Yeah, A300 is running fine so far.
So far. Yeah.
And again, this is my take on the stuff. I don't trust any gun I carry, or not carry per se, but one of my go-to guns until I get 2,000 rounds. And somebody say that's extreme. That's my number. I'm not saying you should adopt that number. If you want to do 500 rounds or 1,000, if you're satisfied with that, knock yourself out. But that's just mine.
I just buy it, load it, and put it on my hip. That's
Go ahead. I'm not going to be where you want to have me anyway. Besides that, bigger boy as you are, I'm pushing you through the door in the first place. You don't even need a gun.
so my number's 0.
Yeah,
man.
your number's 0. What's the best light for the 1301? Surefires. Surefires. Bar none. And with the 1301, since you don't have to rack it, I would get a Surefire with a tape switch and Velcro it on the side of the gun, Velcro the switch on the forearm up there. Someplace you don't normally hold it where you don't have an ND with it, but that's what I would do with a 1301.
How many we got watching, Sheldon?
We've got 79.
Holy smokes.
Oh, shit.
You guys better be whacking that like button.
Okay, what else? You got any more questions?
What are your reasons for wanting to take a firearms training course?
To get better. To get better, not just with the firearm, but the mindset behind it. Because there are some firearms, and I can't specifically list them right now off the top of my head, but there's some firearms that have maybe limited purpose, if you will. Like maybe like a flare gun. That sounds crazy, but they have a limited purpose. Yeah. But I would want to know how to use that flare gun the most effective way it can be used. And usually in that aspect, they're going to tell you about ammunition that's good for it and not so good for it. So I want to learn about the tool I'm using, but I also want to learn about the mindset. And again, I don't mind taking a skills-based only class as long as I know that's what I'm getting when I go into it.
All right, I see the heart's going. Appreciate it. And then there's Taylor Brown.
Taylor Brown, question for them. Have you tried the new Remington Arms 870 like the 20? Made one better. I don't know. I haven't. I can't say I've seen those in class yet. I haven't seen it. I don't know because the students haven't told me. I've seen 870s, but most of them look like the old school stuff, and they're worn out and beat up and stuff, and I know they're going to run. I haven't seen any of the new stuff. Maybe the new Remington Arms Company built them. Maybe they finally got their crap together, but they went through so many changes. They were bought and sold, I think, or at least tentatively there would be a offer on the table where their quality control dropped very, very badly. Matter of fact, this was more than 15 years ago. I can remember buying varmint rifles because we were shooting coyotes, and we would buy a Savage over a Remington any day of the week because Savage did in-house barrels and Remington shipped theirs out, and their quality barrels started sucking. I mean, it's just the way it was.
That next one, Grant Tilley's got, that's for you too.
Where?
One thing I noticed after here, you see him?
Okay, one thing I noticed after my first class is the way of the pistol, but it seemed like it made me better with rifles and shotguns as well.
My bad. It was the one up before that.
Tim, when shooting the M203 that attached under the AR, do you recommend shooting it with your strong hand supporting the
strong hand or sport hand?
I'm shooting it with my strong hand. And we held the magazine of the M16 with our offhand for stability. That's how I shot it. I don't. Maybe there's another way to shoot it. I don't know. The modern stuff in the military now, the SF guys are using 5-shot 203s, rotary magazine 203s.
Heck yeah.
And then I understood, I don't know if they've ever done it, but I understood that they were going to use the H&K grenade launcher, replace the 203 with it because it opened to the side instead of up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still get a Fichette round in it. I don't think you could because the barrel looked short, but they were standalone too. You could disattach them, and it had a pistol grip on it, so you could use it standalone too. So yeah, I thought that was a good idea. What else? Okay, about taking away the pistol made me better with rifles and shotguns. Well, here's the deal, Grant. Everybody should know this. people, you always hear people say this all the time. I shoot a rifle better than or shotgun better than I shoot a pistol. Well, that's a given because you've got at least 4 points of contact with a rifle or shotgun and only 2 at best with a pistol, and the short sight radius on it as well. So yeah, a shotgun and a rifle are a lot easier to shoot than a pistol is for a novice because just because of those factors. Seth said his wife's Emma signed up for shotgun. Great, Emma. We had how many girls we had in this last class?
I don't know.
One. We had one. Oh, my bad. Yeah, and she was injured. She was trying to shoot a 410, and God love her. She's got a free class to come back because none of her guns will work with the ammunition she had. She had pump guns.
Yeah.
410, she was shooting a 410. The rounds were getting stuck in the chamber. We had to rod them out every time, and I don't understand. She could shoot the double-up buck and the slugs, and all of them looked like the 410s were higher brass, and they just didn't work in her gun. So I told her, I circled her name and got back here and told Heather, make sure she gets this class repeatable for no charge because God love her, she tried.
Yeah.
You know, you can't blame her for that.
Max Blade's got a question for you there.
Max, where's Max? I mean, Max, do you see the real benefit of heavy wall barrel 590 A1s? No, not really. I mean, 590 is the military version. The A1s are the military version of the Mossbergs, and I know the military, they specifically asked for that thick wall barrel, and the reason they did, not because of the shot coming out of it may injure a thinner wall barrel, but because they're probably going to hit people with it.
Yeah.
And you get a hunting gun, a thin wall barreled hunting gun, and you whack a dude over the head with it, you'll bend it. And ask me how I know. I did it on a fucking Ithaca 37 in Central America. Fucking bent the shit out of the barrel. So they probably do it for that reason. Do I see any benefits from it? No, but it's damn near indestructible. Let's put it that way.
Whack dudes over the head with
Yeah. Excuse me.
If that's in your scenario, then.
Well, what I like to do with a shotgun, I never got to actually do it. I hit a guy over the head with one, but I never got to muzzle strike him like in the teeth.
Yeah.
That'd be peachy. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. Still got a cold, guys. I'm hacking my guts out over here. John Wilbur says 2,000 rounds is just 2 to 3 times through fighting pistol. Yeah, that's true, John.
Jose Rivera saying good evening.
Yes, sir.
And then he's
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, and asking how you have been. Which you just saw him hacking, right?
Yeah. I got this call from Gary Marr, so you guys ring him up and tell him thanks a lot. No, Gary came through town. He was going to Texas to train. I had a cold then. I gave it to Gary. Gary went to Texas and trained, come back and stayed at my place overnight on the way home.
Yeah.
I got rid of it. He gave it back to me on the way out.
It's only fair.
Just
It's only
passing
fair.
it around, my God.
All right, we're there. John Crewer saying thanks for the live stream. Stay dangerous.
Hey, guys, we only got 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Holy
All right.
mercy.
Yeah.
So get them in while we're young.
Has anyone ever taken a shotgun class with a double barrel
Yes.
coach gun?
Yes. Yes. If you guys don't know, I kind of take the same, and I got this from Clint Smith. Clint Smith's, they have people take with a single barrel shotgun in his class. And I think if that's what you got, learn to run it, guys. You know, There's that old saying, don't be scared of the guy with 100 guns, be scared of the guy with one because he knows how to use that damn thing. That's all he's got.
Yeah.
So I've had guys, not the whole class, but they'd run 2 or 3 drills with a double barrel. You know, they brought a pump, but they'd run 2 or 3 drills with it.
Yeah.
It's fine. I had one guy run side by side, and one guy brought an over and under, and I love over and unders because of my background with sporting clays and skeet. You only get 2 shots of that bird anyway. So, but I enjoy an over and under.
And then Jose Rivera's got one up there for you, asking about the Shockwave.
A Shockwave. The only way the Shockwave's any good, guys, with that bird's head grip, is if you put I would put a folding arm brace on it, or if you wanted to SBR it, go ahead and put a regular folding stock on it. If you want to SBR it, but if you don't want to SBR it, put a folding arm brace on it. Heather's got one. She ran it in fighting shotgun. Now, she didn't ran it all day long because they are painful to shoot with your cheek sitting on that Shockwave, or I mean, in that folding brace thing, it was puffing her cheek up, so she ran the rest of the class with a 1301. But that's the only way I think that gun is viable, other than if you just want something you can easily conceal in the car.
Yeah.
I just don't. Shooting at one hand like this, we've done this on the range. We set two guys next to one another, one with an 18-inch shotgun, one with a Shockwave with a pistol with a bird's head grip on it. By the time you get it away from your face to shoot it like you should, it's the same length as an 18-inch gun.
Yeah.
I mean, they're no further out there. I mean, the 18-inch is no longer than that.
So no big advantage.
There's no big advantage to that, except for concealability.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then any experience with the FN 510 10mm? I do not have any.
No, I do not have any. I have experience with the FN SLP, which is the old semi-automatic shotgun, and they were very finicky on ammo. I found out at the hard way. Went to a class and took some 1,100 feet a second. I tested it at home. I went through 2 boxes at work, got in the range, and it just choked. I had a single-shot semi-automatic.
Yeah, nice.
And it was the first class James was teaching a shotgun class first. And he said, "Did you bring anything else?" I said, "I brought 87." He said, "Go get it." Because when you start having problems with a gun in class, you forget about the class and start fretting over the gun and trying to get it to run, and you just lose out.
Yeah.
So I went and threw that thing in the trunk and got the 870, ran the rest of the class at 870. When I got home, I did do what I should have done before class, which is I found out that FNSLP would not run anything less than 1290 feet a second stuff. Now, having known that, I went and got some Estate 1330, and I ran another class where it ran fine.
Yeah.
But you got it. That particular gun did not like low brass, low recoil stuff.
And that's what Jose's saying. That the Shockwave is for running out of his semi truck.
Yeah, yeah. I'd still put arm brace on. It folds.
Yeah.
It's still the same length because the
Yeah.
arm brace is folding the side. It doesn't make the Shockwave any longer
Yeah.
until you get ready to use it. That's all I'm saying. Yep.
Or you could just run a Judge.
You can take the rest of those questions and stick them in your ear. By the way, guys, before we leave, if you guys are in what counties? This gentleman is running for the Senate in his counties, and you should support him because he's got the right mindset. So tell him what county
Is the 4th Congressional District. It'll be easier to look that up in Tennessee. And yeah, if you would like to donate, you certainly can. Allies for Thomas E. Davis for Congress to reclaim or restore the Republic, I think is what it got. It's a Give, Send, Go campaign. Mm-hmm. So there we go.
Grant Tilley said, made it the whole hour without a judge joke. I knew you was going to. Listen, I'm going to cut Lewis when I see him because he put you up to this.
No, that was completely organic.
I ought to stab you right now in the thigh.
I saw the opportunity. I couldn't not take that, man.
Come on, man. That's just wrong. That's like French kissing your sister. It's just always wrong. You should never slip her the tongue.
I've never done that, so I wouldn't know if it's
you'd be a candidate for it.
But yeah, so back
if you become a congressman, you know what's going to happen, though, don't you? You'll be the one they'll catch you in the bathroom stall at the airport playing tiddlywinks with somebody in the next stall.
Yeah,
you know how they do that.
Yeah, well, I think it's required.
All right, guys, we're past the time. Guys, remember, your responsibility to be ready for the fight.